you know, 90, 80, 90 bucks when they came out. That's about what you could sometimes expect to pay for a box set occasionally at the time. There was a lot of content. I can't remember how many episodes, but it was massive, like 2 box sets of one. And after a while, Toei decided, wait a minute, this is affecting our mainstream Sailor Moon market by saying that this thing is uncensored. Then the parents are going to think, well, what bad content was in it that, you know, they had to censor. I don't want my kid watching this censored show because it's evil. And that kind of skewed logic, and so they pulled the licenses for the uncensored versions. So your 1 box set of Sailor Moon now, in the midst of, you know, $20, $30 complete series in this market, you're going to have to pay about $180 for a single box set, used box set of Sailor Moon now, because it's so rare and out of print. I find this the logic kind of weird, though, because Sailor Moon's American presence has long passed in the 90s. There is no, Sailor Moon is gone in America, so there's no reason, I don't see any reason. They don't even market it anymore, even censored or otherwise, so I don't see a reason why they even bother, you know, worrying about that. The hardcore fans are going to be the fans that pick it up, not children. Parents aren't going to find that for them. So that's kind of ridiculous, and I think that's lots of money lost because, oh, look, their mascot. Obviously, Sailor Moon has had an effect on America. Truthfully, I was somewhat influenced in the original creation of the Big Uncle Fuku character by Anime Central's Sailor Bubba, which is somehow more disturbing than Big Uncle Fuku. We are really running late, but I realize.
Project Aiko.
Yeah, Project Aiko.
For me, it's only 8:45.
Yeah, I mean, geez, the con's not even open yet, really. Or it's past close. Actually, Aaron, I think we burned through both your panels. You don't care.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
If somebody really wants to know how to say a few things in Japanese,
Does anyone have a program book?
I do.
You!
Okay.
Oh!
So I think she's here for her panel, new panel.
Yeah, Con God, I don't know all. Just most. Coloring in Photoshop with Alex is now, but you had a, hi Alex. I'll set you up. But you raised your hand.
I haven't really been paying attention. I mean, I started with the manga and anime thing about 10, 12 years ago, and was just curious whether over time people had actually started to realize, yes, a lot of the stuff was always intended for adults.
Yes.
It was always intended for adults. That's why you couldn't find Maison Koku after a while, because it was targeted at Japanese adults. American adults had never caught on, really. So you didn't see it.
Your book?
And has it gotten better?
Oh, nice
Have
done.
you grown up?
Yeah, this is kind of it. Sorry, Alex. This is actually an incredible topic, though. Kind of the interesting thing about the anime industry is that it's it doesn't want to necessarily offend people, but at the same time it wants to hype up how hardcore it is. Like, you know, Ninja Scroll back a couple of years ago was the title you showed people because it was bloody. It had all kinds of sexuality. I mean, you know, snakes coming out of women. It's like you showed someone's like who wasn't familiar with anime. That's messed up. And so I was kind of a shock to the system. A couple of years back, ADV and Funimation both had campaigns exposing the bloody and violent aspects of their sexuality of their shows. The first one out the door was Gantz, because it's like they had their boxes labeled "Too Hot for Japan," and the truth was it was censored. What we got was the uncensored DVD release, and of course the only offensive thing to me on that whole thing was the fact that they decided people wanted to pay basically $20, or anywhere from $12 if you went to Best Buy to to $18 for 2 episodes. I could have told them that the strategies would fail. But they hyped that up, and they did that again with Elvin Lee, wherein they hyped up about how hardcore it was, almost to a point where I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I really don't know what this is about, but I want it for some reason. Because Elvin Lee was like, when I watched that, I was like, I seen the blood and the people exploding. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty violent, but it's no devil, man. Where are the internal organs? And then a heart fell out, and I'm like, oh, okay. But Funimation did the same. Actually, on ADV actually did something else, which was even more offensive, in my opinion. They had anyone. I know, Kevin is. Anyone know about Burn Up? Burn Up W, Burn Up's XS. They actually took. It's basically it's a show with a lot of female fan service, and they pretty much started. At one point they decided they had this feature slapped on the cover called the Jiggle Counter.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a subtitle track where every time the girls jiggle, it counted up. And they did this with Plastic Little as well, a classic anime, and I'm like, that's annoying. I mean, that's so terrible. You're like destroying the subtlety of the humor. Yes, I'm defending boobs bouncing, the artistic value of it. But Funimation had a campaign a little bit more recently. I'm going to get this wrong. Bloods, Blades, and something else in Beauty. It was like 4 B words. Not that one. Should have been. It included Speed Grapher. Let's get this one up. Vasculus, the Samurai one, Desert Punk, and one Trinity Blood. And those were marketed, and it's like, these are hardcore shows. I mean, Trinity Blood was more of a slapping Helsing and Trigun together, in my opinion. Basilisk was, I think, a little bit more in the vein of Ninja Scroll, kind of, from what little I've seen of it. Desert Punk is basically South Park in the desert.
Basilisk was like Romeo and Juliet, except with ninjas.
There you go. That one had like a lot, the dark, corrupted characters with their mutated and that, and like Ninja Scroll. Best way I can describe it. I forgot that other one, but they had this campaign marketed at that, and it was successful because I kept finding the DVDs shortly thereafter for like $6 at Allied. Right afterwards, I'm like, cool, I get to check these out. Oh, Speed Grapher was that other one. Speed Grapher was. I'm surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that that one came out. Despite its poor animation quality, it's actually a pretty good. It's a pretty good anime, but there's implications of gasp, underage romance between a 30-year-old war photographer who more or less gets a boner over war photos because he's completely obsessed with taking with photography, and this girl that's like, she's got to be 16 or so, I would say, who has this ability to start this virus that causes people to mutate, is basically it, is more or less the premise. She's 16, and the initiation for this club where all these basically freaks come into, or get mutated into, is that it's like an S&M club for the rich, and she basically is in a skimpy outfit and makes out with, like, the unsavory rich folk, and that just shows you, it's